gonna be your safari tour guide to the Harambe Wildlife Reserve today. Now, real fast, before we get started out there, please remember to stay fully seated at all times, keeping your hands, arms, legs, and feet inside as well. Then when we get to those animals, please make sure you don't make loud outburst sounds towards them. It will scare them away, and we're not here to do that, but instead we're here to take good up-close photos of them. If you are taking photos, I recommend the sports mode or live action mode. It might help you on the bumpy ride. Now, no matter what thing you're holding in your hand or on your head, just make sure you hold onto it tightly. Any loose items that happen to fall outside, we're not allowed to stop and pick it up. You feel free to wave at me, and we'll both wave wildly goodbye to that item. But I'll get someone else to go get it for you. I just can't promise it'll look like it once was. Now, just one more reminder, there's no eating or drinking on the safari and absolutely no smoking. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Our first stop out here is going to be known as the Little Aturi Forest. The animals we find are going to have special marks on their back which help them blend in with their surroundings and protect themselves from predators. Like there to the left, that's a bongo. There to the right, that's an okapi. And the bongos are the true ghost of the forest. They lay their horns across their back and slip inside around without being detected, so they're rarely ever seen. All those okapi, they do have zebra stripes, but those just help them look like rays of sun as they slip around. And it also looks like zebras, but they're really related to giraffes. Oh, but our friend right there, that's a saddle-billed stork to the left. If you look real close at her eye color, you'll see it's yellow, which is how we know she's a female. If it was brown, we would know she's a male. But here comes one more thing, a black rhino. Now it's kind of rare we're seeing one out here. There's only about 3,000 to 4,000 of them left out there today. They've been nearly wiped out, but their horns, they're poached for them, when they're really just made of keratin like our fingernails and hair. So there's absolutely no purpose of it for us, which is really unfortunate. But our next one's right there to the right, the greater kudu. They are the largest of their species. They stand around 5 feet tall and weigh 750 pounds. But they still manage to jump about 8 feet high and run at 60 miles per hour to evade their predators. One more really fun about them is while they look like deers, they actually bark just like dogs. But we are slipping into our next location, and out here is called the Safi River. So we're looking underwater for whatever we can find. I'll give you a hint, it will be round shapes, ovals, or bubbles. But up there along the bank, those are pink-backed pelicans. The only one of their 8 species who actually nest in trees, in groups of up to 500 at a time. And no, they don't have pink feathers, but during mating season their skin turns pink, and they'll lift up their wings to show it off to each other. Oh, but there they go to the left, the Nile hippopotamus. There he is. Do you see him right over there? Do you see him right over there? And what we're seeing there is those guys that can't actually swim. They're so heavy they have to sink all the way down to the bottom to walk around. There go about 3 more back there behind those palm trees. If you look pretty close, you might even see a baby. They're hiding. That's okay. Our next one's actually right here. These are going to be the Nile crocodiles. Now those guys have incredibly powerful jaws. You can eat up to half of their body weight in one sitting and crush the bones of their prey. Usually, they do weigh about 500 to 1,600 pounds themselves, which makes them the largest species of crocodilian. We are definitely moving away from them now, and we're headed into our next destination. Out here, we're going to be nearing the wide open savanna. You're going to see there's not near as much vegetation down here, so these animals are not going to blend in with their surroundings. But they'll definitely stick in large groups to try and protect one another. So you might see multiples of every single one. We're going to see what we can find first. As you look out there, you might be seeing some in the distance. Already, there's a few Maasai giraffes hiding out to the right. But coming up in this middle here, these gray bodies are called wildebeest. Probably see more than they do any of the rest of the animals. Now the reason for that, they stick in the largest herd of nearly 1.5 million. And that's second to humans in terms of size. So when they're all out there eating their vegetation, as you see, they do actually consume so much, they help stop the spread of wildfires. But they do replenish that when they go stampeding. They overturn the soil with their feet and allow for more vegetation to grow later, or even help revive ecosystems. Real fast, our next one's hiding there to the left in the back right corner. Those are African painted dogs. And they'll typically stick in groups of up to 30 at a time and have a high success rate of 80%. But back behind these wildebeest, those are sable antelope. They're one of the only antelopes who actually fight back against their predators. And they'll do so with ease with their long horns, and they'll never back down from a fight. So they're actually the symbol of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. We never like to back down for these animals' conservation. We are coming up to our next one. Out here, we're going to be seeing a Hartman Mountain zebra or two. A group of them, like we're seeing here, is actually called a dazzle. And he caught them at a great time. When it's really hot outside, their stripes will actually blend in with the heat waves coming off the ground, helping them trick others into thinking they're not really there. I'll take it the way I knew that they were Hartman Mountain zebras was actually from their stripe layout. They'll have white underbellies and thicker, wider stripes, which is one of their identifying features. And that goes for every species of zebra. Every stripe layout is different and unique to every single individual as well, which allows for their families to identify them too. We are coming up to a much smaller one out here. The little guys there to the right are a small species of antelope called a springbok. And the reason they're called a springbok is because they jump like a spring. They jump about 6 feet up and 13 feet outwards. They'll go 50 to 60 miles per hour while doing so. They're among the top 10 fastest land mammals. Our friend there with massive horns is an Ankole cattle. But of course, there's a Maasai giraffe. Now, as for those cattle, they did have massive horns, but they're much lighter than you might think they are. They're made of a honeycomb structure where they can circulate blood in them and regulate their body temperatures throughout the day.
Wait, look at this side.
While our Maasai giraffe friends here, we call them doing what you'll usually find them doing, eating their vegetation or walking around. they really only sleep for about an hour a day. But since they're eating for so long, you may have seen they do have blackish purple colored tongues. And that helps them keep from getting sunburnt while they eat in that sunlight. But we are going to have to keep on moving forward. And this big fallen tree here can only mean we're not nearing something much larger. Out there to the left, that's a really large species of monkey. They're called mandrills. The largest species of monkey in the world. And a grown male can weigh about 100 pounds. We didn't get to really see their face, but I'll tell you, they do look like Rafiki from The Lion King. That's what Rafiki was based off of, is a mandrill. So they do have a blue and red nose, which will change color as their emotions intensify. So if they get excited or angry, the colors on their face change with them. But something a little less detectable is they actually have cheek pouches, kind of like hamsters, where they can stuff vegetation in there to eat it for later. Now if you do know Rafiki from The Lion King, I'll tell you a fun fact. In the older movies, he actually has a tail. Because they thought a mandrill was an egg, but they didn't really know what it was. But when they discovered that it's really just a monkey, they went back and fixed Rafiki in the newer versions of The Lion King and took the tail away. And there is actually a place here at Animal Kingdom called Rafiki's Planet Watch. And they put that up at that time where they did not know what he was. So in every single picture of him, he does have a tail. They just haven't gone back to fix it yet. So that's a fun thing to go and look at if you head over to Rafiki's Planet Watch. I'll tell you here, we're still looking for something else. These big walls here are going to be made of red clay. Much larger animal will like to dig into it with their tusks and eat it to get their nutrients from it. But it might be just a second before we can keep on moving forward. We're going to slowly creep our way up there, but we're definitely holding for some animals up in the road ahead. As we go by these walls though, make sure to look out for those tusk marks. You might even see some footprints in the ground, which might give you a good indicator to what's hiding out here.
Maggie, look up here.
I see him up there. I see him. The big animal up there.
You might already see one out there to the left. There's going to be African elephants out here. Tell you something to look for will be the shape of their ear. It'll look like the shape of Africa, which is how you can identify them. Also, one of our much taller friends back over here to visit you one more time. Those beside you, right?
Maggie, what is an elephant? Maggie, what is an elephant?
I'll tell you, there being multiple elephants over there, that's a good indicator they're probably talking to each other right now. While we can't hear them, they do communicate in vibrations that they send out through the ground, where they can be heard and understood by another one from up to 5 miles away. They'll use that to just talk to each other in general, or they'll also use it when there's dangers in the distance. They don't want to vocalize and announce where they are to other predators. my giraffe friends, there's one more thing about them. I noticed they were super big. Actually, the tallest land mammal. They're born around 6 feet tall and grow to be 16 to 20 feet tall. So they have super long legs. And that means when they are born, their babies actually fall from 6 feet to the ground. But thudding down there serves the purpose of jump-starting their heart and having them up and moving within an hour after birth, so they can try and protect themselves from predators while they're young. Alright, coming up to some much more feathered friends here in just a second. Here we're going to be seeing the greater flamingo.
You wonder what sound they make.
I tell you what's special about them, they're actually the largest and lightest peak of their species. Now if you're seeing gray ones and you're thinking they're older, they're actually younger than the rest of them. They're usually born as a gray puffball and then get their color from beta carotene and brine shrimp that they eat. It just takes them about 2 to 3 years from birth to get that fully developed pink color. Well, looks like we're not flamingo territory anymore. Out here, there's some white rhinos. You might see they don't exactly look white in color. That's because they were named off of their mouth. It's a wide and flat mouth which helps them eat below them. And it's also their distinctive feature from other rhinos. But these guys, while they might look big, that's because they are. They weigh about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds apiece. But they're still pretty fast. They can run at about 30 miles per hour. But if you're still looking that way, there's something much faster up on the hill. You might spot them. There's a few chiefs up there. 3 of them laying right above that rock structure. If you're having a bit of a hard time spotting them, that is because they do use their spots to blend in with their surroundings as a form of protection. But of course, they don't always have to do that. They're the fastest land mammal and can run anywhere from 60 to 80 miles per hour. Their fastest speed ever being 90. While that seems quick, they do use their tail as a form of control when they're running around. But there's another big cat up there. Up there you might see the male lion. You hear about them sleeping. You usually find them sleeping during the day for about 16 to 20 hours. See, their bodies just can't handle the heat. They don't have many sweat glands, so they just try and stay inactive while it's hot outside. But they're also nighttime hunters. They don't really have a purpose of being awake during the day. But as for the nighttime hunting, they do have much better vision than us at night, about 16 or 60 times our vision. So they know exactly where they're going at nighttime. But with that still being said, they don't have a very high success rate. But I heard you saw them out there. There's going to be a much bigger bird, the ostrich.
Coming over this way?
to be the largest bird in the world, but they're flightless. They use their big wings to change direction while they run around. They actually run at about 40 miles per hour, which makes them the fastest thing on two legs. But passing them by, that does mean we're nearing our final stop. Our wardens do take care of all of our animals, but they also stay in this little hut down here and keep an animal for themselves. You might have to play a little hide and seek to find them. They're kind of hiding. But you might see some Nigerian dwarf goats. Those guys are very playful and sociable, so they're often kept as a pet, of course. But they do have very valuable resources. They're actually known to be milk goats, so you can take their milk and goat cheese and sell it to make profit. But a cool one about them themselves, they're actually born without an upper set of teeth. And they still manage to strip their vegetation down pretty greatly, including things like bark right off of trees. But passing them, that just means we've made it to the end of our journey. So if you guys heard any cool facts out there today or took any good pictures, feel free to go home and share that around with your family and friends. Know that by doing so, you are spreading awareness for those animals, which is fantastic for them, because they can't spread awareness for themselves. Now, if I had any wilderness explorers on board, let me hear caw-caw! Caw-caw! I do have a code word for you. That's going to be Simba 1. SIMBA 1. And the person with your badge is going to be right outside of us. Make sure you tell them about your favorite animal out there on the safari and a new fact that you learned. But here we are, friends, so make sure you have your belongings and hate for you to leave anything behind. Know that here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye because it's too sad. Instead, we like to say Kwa Harini, which means go well. So, if you're there,